So Kara Ireland is a Black lesbian writer, poet, and scholar from Atlanta, Georgia. As a doctoral student in the Afro-American Studies Department at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, her research interests include Black feminism, media studies, internalized racism, minstrelsy, and desirability politics. Grounded firmly in a Black feminist praxis, Kara is committed to the liberation and celebration of QT BIPOC and conducting research that privileges that calling. So take it away, Kara.
Hi everyone, my name is Kara Ireland and I present to you Mask Off, Black Women and the Manic Pixie Dream. I will use the Manic Pixie Dream Girl archetype to critique how Black women are often misrepresented and argue that reappropriating this trope can honor their agency. By challenging the Manic Pixie Dream Girl's reductive aspects, I advocate for giving Black women the same freedom and complexity that white characters receive. So, who is the so-called Manic Pixie Dream Girl? She's got colorful hair, white skin, and an eccentric style. She's quirky, impulsive, and obnoxiously extroverted. She's praised for her brutal honesty and how she's not like other girls. She's uninterested in traditional femininity, dumbing herself down, or being inauthentic. In making her own choices, her social misbehavior is enchanting, and she happily transgresses the boundaries. She appears in the following movies and more. This trope romanticizes the cool girl aesthetic while minimizing the humanity of the character. The Manic Pixie Dream Girl is denied complexity when her sole purpose is to be a catalyst for her romantic interest. The entire character is predicated on breathing life into the lovelorn, insecure, and boring white male protagonist. She is the site of projection for male fantasy, imbuing her with traits, ambitions, and sentiments that are not explicitly her own. Her problems and inner strife are unimportant because they misalign with her perfect image. I will now introduce a few familiar Black women tropes embodied by the phrase controlling images, or images designed to make racism, sexism, poverty, and more appear to be natural, normal parts of everyday life. For example, you hear her before you see her. She's obnoxious, rude, vulgar, and emasculating. She is the gum-smacking woman with her hip jutted out and one eyebrow raised. She's a neck-rolling, finger-pointing spectacle with a sharp tongue. Sapphire, or the angry Black woman. Next we have Mammy. This big-boned maternal head of household is a very familiar figure. Come on, sugar, you know who this is. Always happy and endlessly warm, Mammy just wants to take care of you. She is all-knowing in the household, respectable and chaste, de-sexed and dependable, with no dreams or aspirations of her own beyond the family. Lastly, we have Jezebel. The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. She's bawdy and body, selling sex and the ultimate forbidden fantasy, the fast-tailed hoochie mama. Jezebel exists for the fetishized gaze, representative of the most carnal desires. With all this history and assumptions preceding Black women, it leaves little room for imaginative characterization. Film and TV says, we know Black women's stories and what they're all about, but those limiting portrayals are dismissive, and above all, they're fiction. Black women have always embodied complexity and expressed dynamic identities. White women, seen as the default image of womanhood and desirability, are afforded this optimized version of coolness because they rarely have to assert their right to romance. White women's stories are told more freely and without the negative assumptions that weigh down Black women's stories. Their characters are never forced to explain their socioeconomic status, family life, or educational requirements to be worthy of love. When confronted with unrealistic characterizations, white protagonists are easily discerned between reality and fiction. For example, Manic Pixie Dream Girls are throwaway archetypes we easily dismiss as fiction. Why don't we also see Black women's caricatures as fiction? Black women's stories are often steeped in misogynoir and characterized by struggle, making them prove their worthiness as the object of romantic pursuits. Black women are forced into near perfection to be desirable, often exceeding beauty, occupation, wealth, education, social, religious, and other respectability standards. While white characters get to be hot messes and are given the grace to figure it out, never compromising their value, Black characters rarely have been seen doing the same without harsh judgments. In film and TV, Black women spend too much time making a case for their humanity. Without having to negotiate their romantic value, what could Black women's stories hold? If Black women were afforded the same blank slate for characterization, who could we become? The problem with Black women's characterization over time is that the fiction becomes perceived as the reality. Many of these factors account for 46.5% of Black women remaining unmarried in 2020. Black women represent only 16.5% of interest on dating apps. Black women don't get to be problematic without representing the entire race. Their bad behaviors are prescriptive and pathological because of the controlling images. This is why filmmakers who see Black women with fresh eyes are so important to the retirement of these controlling images. Bypassing the historical depictions and creating characters that are more reflective of real life and the freedom of imagination, the producers of She's Gotta Have It, Rye Lane, and High Fidelity are visionaries. These renderings of Black women break the mold, providing fresh new characters I believe fit neatly within the traditionally white trope, the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. This is why I'm making a case for new visions for Black women. I will now introduce my 3 candidates for the Black Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Our first candidate is Yaz. She's just as eccentric, daring, and whimsical as the rest, without deference to racialized limitations. She's emboldened by her quirks, provocative without shrinking herself from the white gaze. Yaz exists freely, undaunted by political and stereotypical expectations. When Yaz and Dom meet in an art exhibit, she immediately unnerves him. Her sardonic responses pull a shy smile out of him, already making him self-conscious in his words and movement, wondering if he's cool. As consistent with the Manic Pixie Dream Girl tradition, she's a bit brash and inserts herself into his day. She then strives to finish all of his sentences, presuming to know more about him than she actually does. They talk and walk around Rye Lane Market. Her eccentricism bewitches Dom as he floats behind her in a love-struck daze. They go from the flea market to a park where Dom clearly is out of his element, frolicking after Yaz as she plays on the playground. She pokes fun at this, narrating, "Onward they stroll, each step bringing them closer to their mystery destination." This, of course, is all it takes to create their impenetrable bond. Her energy is infectious, and it electrifies him as he suddenly comes to life with a new, goofy, spontaneous side. Her reckless abandon demonstrates to Dom what he has the potential to be, as he often mirrors her energy and actions. He begins to seek her approval. As a generally rigid person, she molds him into someone who's okay with going with the flow, and that's all it takes. Yaz is a classic Manic Pixie Dream Girl, and she's Black, a fact she never explains or apologizes for. Through her character, we see the possibility of a new Black archetype. Next, I want to introduce Rob. In High Fidelity, Rob is an impulsive, bratty, bitingly sarcastic, careless romantic with strong opinions on music. Her alternative aesthetic makes her a rock and roll cool girl that sets her apart from the other Black female protagonists, as does the free-spirited manner in which she navigates the world. A gender and race-swapping revival of the film High Fidelity from 2000, the series reimagines Rob without necessarily reinventing her. Rob is a cigarette-smoking, deeply insecure, obsessive girl with unrealistic expectations of love and a propensity towards drama. We essentially live inside Rob's head as she's an unreliable narrator, committed to her own delusions, often breaking the fourth wall to speak directly to her audience. She can only admit retroactively that she's kind of an asshole and stuck in a dysfunctional loop. The show follows Rob as she tracks down her top 5 heartbreaks, seeking answers to who she is and why she's doomed to be left. Drama. She gets carried away by her whims, often flailing around in the wake of all her bad decisions. For all intents and purposes, Rob is the wistful, hot mess character we've seen all too many times in white films. However, because of her beauty, she gets away with it. She's awful, to be clear. She's self-indulgent, melodramatic, and makes a lot of questionable decisions. She does not become a better person by the end. Instead, she spins until she's completely unraveled. And Rob does not explicitly engage racial politics or situate her Blackness in her scope. She just exists, freely and fallibly. Her character is not used for social commentary, nor is she imagined to be representative of all Black women through her poor decision-making, a luxury our white Manic Pixie Dream Girls blindly enjoy. All of this makes her another excellent candidate for a Black Manic Pixie Dream Girl, a rejuvenated image of Black womanhood that we deserve to see more of. We can be chaotic and self-destructive and survive. We fit all of the multitudes. Lastly, I introduce Nola. We've seen 2 interpretations of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl with slightly differing traits and approaches. Our final candidate is Nola Darling. Netflix's She's Gotta Have It in 2017 is a television revival of Spike Lee's 1968 film by the same name. The series follows Nola Darling, who navigates her love life with 3 men and eventually 1 woman as a painter in Brooklyn. Nola's opening line is, "I would like y'all to know The only reason I'm doing this is because folks think they know me. They think they know what I'm about. And the truth is, they don't know me. From this, we see that Nola is the most irreverent, dynamic, and liberated of them all. Her trials in unapologetically exploring her sexuality while refusing labels and the constant misrepresentations of her lovers places Nola squarely in the realm of the manic pixie dream girl. She is the object of numerous men's fantasies and misguided projections because of her infectious personality. Nola often breaks the fourth wall, speaking directly to her audience about how the events unfold and how she's perceived. Her astute observations are seldom understood, another attribute making her this aloof, unattainable beauty. This show captures the fiery essence of Nola's resilient backlash against sexism and misogyny, catcalling, and outdated sexual politics. Nola is a sexually liberated woman who makes men follow her rules. After sex, one jokingly asks if her bed possesses magical, mystical powers, alluding to his dreamlike perception of her. Not unlike a succubus, Nola bends all of these men to her will until they no longer suit her purposes. She experiences sexual misogyny from her friends and lovers, both of whom consistently accuse her of being a sex addict and a hoe. Despite her clear communication, each of these men contorts Nola into this fantastical woman of their dreams. The argument that the traditional manic pixie dream girl is purely a figment of the male imagination contrasts against a dynamic character like Nola, because she demonstrates a self-advocacy more than most. She's a self-aware inversion of the manic pixie dream girl, while acknowledging how she's perceived in all the inscriptions that come along with her blackness. This show is more political, and its writing is smart in the ways that it confronts Nola's reality as a dark-skinned black woman navigating desirability. In conclusion, the reappropriation of the manic pixie dream girl archetype can serve as a form of resistance against the narrative erasure and marginalization of black women. What draws audiences to these characters is their divergence from the popular imagination. Misogynoir permeates the reception of black women and produces negative characterizations of them as abrasive, rude, loud, and domineering, especially when juxtaposing white characters. Therefore, the aloof, eccentric, and self-assured behaviors emboldened by the classic manic pixie dream girl are not available to black women in the same ways. Due to racist interpretations, black women are barred from the conventions that define the classic manic pixie dream girl because those traits are deemed combative and undesirable in them. Lastly, are there any writers in the room? Yeah? I leave you with this. What would it look like if black women were free to be quirky, carefree, and imperfect, just as deserving of love and adventure as everyone else? And what would it mean for our collective imagination to see them in their full humanity, unburdened by the weight of stereotypes? It is with this that I close, pleading for us all to keep our minds open and to look toward the future. Thank you.
Do you need the other adapter? Do you need this part? Thank you. Sorry. While she gets that set up. Ishita?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ishita is a PhD student of English at Indiana